Classic Night Radio. This is the weekly music podcast where every week we get into a different band, different artist. And right now we are in easy hard season. This is where we take a band that we really like and we listen to one of their worst records or a very unpopular record from this band. And we break it down. We get into music, lyrics, how it's made, and everything in between. My name is Tyler, and way out there, hundreds of miles away, is Jeff. While you're listening, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give us 5 stars. Or if you're watching on YouTube, smash that subscribe button. So with that being said, we end easy hard season with what band, Jeff, and what album? Go.
We are doing Black Sabbath and their record Forbidden.
Forbidden. My God. Forbidden. This came out in 1995, the last non-Ozzy record. Really, some might say the last Black Sabbath record, because some people don't consider 13 as a proper Black Sabbath record. I don't know. Whatever. Came out in 95, like I said. And Tony Iommi is the only OG member of the band at this point. And it's honestly, this record is, everybody talks shit on this. Fans, critics, like this is given like 1 star, maybe 2 stars at best across the board. But that's why we're doing it. This is easy hard season, baby. Easy hard season. So let's quickly get into our origin story with Sabbath and then also our first impressions on Forbidden. Go.
I don't really have like my mom and then songs and jamming to things, but I don't think I really ever got into Sabbath the way we do on the pod until like the pod. Otherwise, it was just like I knew how to play Iron Man for a long time, and we riffed on like Paranoid, and my neighbors play songs. So, and Guitar Hero had Sabbath songs. They were just always there. They always existed, but I never got into Sabbath like the way we do on the pod until the pod. Like that was like the first real time that I got into them was when we started doing the pod. Otherwise, it was just and not even like the hits. There's only the hits from like up until Paranoid, really. Yeah, because like Mickey was the only person that I ever knew who loved Supernaut, and out of that, like I don't remember listening to Supernaut like ever, but it was just the big hits from the first 3 records. That was it. That was my Sabbath life up until we did the pod. Yeah.
All right. I mean, my thing was I got into them like in like the greatest hits stuff, like when I was in middle school, listened to that throughout high school. And then I saw the OG Sabbath lineup at Ozfest in 2005, and I was blown away, just absolutely blown away by it. So I remember I went home the following day or a couple days after, and I went on Amazon, early days of Amazon, and I bought every single Ozzy era Sabbath CD, and then I've just always loved Sabbath, really, really loved Sabbath since then. And then we did Sabbath on the podcast back in 2020. When we completely or late 2019, when we completely restarted the podcast, rebranded the podcast. That was the first episode we ever did, was Sabbath on the podcast. Damn. And that was really when you started to take a dive into him, was that episode. And then we did Paranoid pretty much a year ago to the date we did Paranoid on this podcast.
Crazy.
And here we are now doing Forbidden. So what is your, what's your first impressions on the 18th Black Sabbath record? What do you got? Go.
I've never listened to this record through and through. I've heard the Ice-T song and then the title track, I think, but really just the Ice-T song is the only thing that I've ever really listened to. When we did it on the pod, I don't think we did all the records, just like the Ozzy era plus Heaven and Hell. First impressions are I was kind of like, no way it could be that bad. I like Body Count's fun. They're not a great band, but I like what they try to do. But like that's a thrash thing. So maybe like Ernie C's going to bring some thrash into Sabbath, which is not something new. They've done it before and they've almost like invented thrash. Like they know how to do metal outside of their normal forte. So that was my expectations going in. My first impressions after this was over was like, fuck, man, you made it worse. You are bad.
You are bad.
You are bad. Wow. Impressive. Most impressive.
So yeah, we did this last year, but I didn't actually go back and listen to that rankings episode, but I think we only ranked the Ozzy records. I know I went back and I listened to every Sabbath record. I don't know if you did, maybe you skimmed through some of them, but I don't think you actually listened to all of them because I ranked them all last time. But I
I
know
don't think we were doing that.
no, we were doing it, but we didn't want to do that many Sabbath records. I think because we've been doing the rankings thing for years now. Because we did the Deep Purple stuff. Remember that was like in 2021, 2020, 2021. So
yeah, because right before I'm looking at my notes now. Right before that, oh yeah, we definitely did stuff because we did Smash. We did After the Neil Young. We did Bright Eyes. We did Descendants. We did Milo Goes to College before Sabbath.
We're paranoid.
So, well, I'm looking at Sabbath. We did Sabbath.
Do we? Okay, then maybe we didn't do Paranoid.
76 episodes ago.
Okay, so then we did Sabbath. Then we didn't do Paranoid.
But like my rankings only go to Heaven and Hell, but it might just be because I wasn't keeping my notes at this time. So for me to I'm going back and listening to the episode and then seeing where I'm ranking things. Okay. So maybe I did. I just had no recollection of anything prior to Heaven and Hell.
Yeah, I mean, we just did the rankings. We just recorded the rankings episode. I mean, it was a long one, but we got through every record. We broke. I mean, I wouldn't say we broke it down, but we got into them more than most people would ever get into the non-Aussie era. But yeah, my first impressions with Forbidden. I mean, this is not a very good record.
So it almost killed you. You almost just died.
This is not a very good record. This is the last with Tony Martin, like I said, in 1995. Ernie C., the guitarist, producer for Body Count, produced this one. This is kind of like a record label thing, too. Tony Iommi didn't really know where to go on this one. They were kind of at the end of a contract era, or like this is like the last. They needed to do one more record to get out of a contract with IRS Records. And the label was like, oh, let's try to do this like rap rock thing that was so popular with Aerosmith and then the Public Enemy guys and Anthrax. But that was like late 80s. It's like, this is way past that time.
Yeah.
Why would you even try to have Sabbath do that? And I get it because Body Count is like an actual rock band with rap elements. I get it. It could have worked, but it really didn't. And to the point where, reading more about this record, Tony Martin came in and they're like, yeah, Ice-T's gonna sing on or rap on the record too. And he would ask, well, what is he doing? Like, how many songs? And they never gave him a straightforward answer. So even Tony Martin didn't know if he was going to really be on the record. Like they could have easily recorded all of the tracks with Tony Martin, just dumped them all. I mean, it's not like Sabbath haven't done that before, because they certainly have many times. So, and Tony Martin has said in retrospect, like, this is kind of a shit record because of that, and just because the songs overall weren't that great. They worked well in rehearsal, but the songs weren't that good. And I agree. This record is disjointed.
It's trash.
It's disjointed. It's. I went back and I listened to the original mix of this record, and compared to the 2024 remix that Tony Iommi put out a few months ago, and there is a big difference, and they both have their merits. I mean, the original mix, to me, the vocals are lower in the mix, so they're not as distracting, but the guitars and the drums are certainly just kind of, they're subpar. The tones that Ernie C was getting just was not good. The mix kind of sucked, but the 2024 mix is very much more bombastic and loud, but then you also had to turn Tony's vocals up, and that's where a lot of this just sucks. It sucks. Tony Martin, I mean, we talked about Tony Martin on the rankings episode, and the guy just, God, he's just so vanilla. He's such a vanilla metal hard rock singer, like just beyond vanilla. It's crazy.
And this is the most vanilla of it all. At least like we can hear him be a singer prior to this, but this is just like
going through the motions.
Fuck, man. Like, this is bad. This is truly their worst album. There is no redeeming qualities on this whatsoever. Like, I don't even know if I have any stinkers or okay songs. I have nothing close to a banger. Everything is at best an okay song. But like, damn, there's a lot of things on here that are so fucking bad. And even the fact that, like, dude, this is Black Sabbath, right? And then like the whole crossover thing between genres, that's cool and that's fun and it can work. But even like someone tells like, hey Tony, you should get Ernie C, and he's, who the fuck is that?
Yeah,
like, I don't know who the fuck that is. Like, I'm fucking Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath. Like, give me somebody I know. Like, come on, dude. Ernie C, he was doomed before he began.
He was. But then also like the arrogance of Tony, and then also the drummer Cozy Powell who played on this. And mind you, Cozy was an amazing drummer. He really, really was. But you know, Ernie C was trying to be a producer. He was like, maybe you should try this, maybe try this, maybe do this. And Cozy was not receptive to the advice or the guidance. And he pretty much said, "Fuck you, I'm going to do whatever I want." And it's just like,
you don't tell Cozy Powell how to play fucking drums, ain't it?
It's like, why even have a producer then? Like, if you're not going to kind of work together and collaborate, then what's the point? Just
which is funny, because then Cozy Powell proceeds to play the most lackluster, boring, pathetic fucking drums I have heard on a Black Sabbath record.
Yeah, they're pretty lackluster.
This is Cozy's worst performance on drums. It is fucking awful. It is garbage. It's bad. Everybody's bad. Like even the song, even the songs aren't here. It's not like, oh, this song is really good, I wish Tony wouldn't sing. Like, no, dude, the song is bad. Tony's singing is bad. The writing is bad. The lyrics are fucking atrocious.
The lyrics are terrible.
This is a bad fucking record. It's terrible. I mean, it's awful.
I rank this, you know, higher than most would rank it on you know, amongst the Tony Martin era of this band. And the only reason I ranked it higher is because there's nothing super, super bad about this. Like, there's nothing where you're like, oh my God, this is like a terrible 80s ballad. This is, you know, there's nothing overtly bad. There's just like, it's just like very kind of, it's level of just like mediocre, like between like the border of mediocre and bad. Like, it's just very, very level. There's nothing super fucking bad like earlier Tony Martin era records. And there's some like weird wonky stuff, like guitar wise, like what kind of riff is this? Like, why is Tony Iommi throwing this kind of riff out there? It's kind of a cool riff, but it doesn't make sense. And how is Tony Martin supposed to sing over some of these riffs? Like, some of it is some wonky shit, which I have notes on. But that's honestly why I ranked this higher than most, was because it just, there wasn't anything on here that was atrocious. It's not good, but there was nothing atrocious on here.
I will agree, because I don't have like a true stinker. I have parts of almost every song where I'm like, dude, that was fucking awful. And I do have parts of some songs like, oh, that's pretty good actually, but not one song I think is better than just like okay. I sure have no bangers and nothing even close to a banger, but everything is like, I guess I could have put this a stinker. But then I thought, like, if you took any of these songs off and then put them on like a good Sabbath record, they would be the stinker on that Sabbath record. And that makes them kind of like shitty songs. Because if you took a shitty song from a good Sabbath record and put it on this, that'd be the banger. That'd be the best song. You put changes on this? You telling me you wouldn't like changes?
I mean, changes is leaps and bounds better than that. I mean, that's just stupid.
You know what I mean? Like you do four of these and changes comes on, you're like, oh, thank God.
Every Ozzy era song is better than any song off of this record.
Hands down. Fucking true.
Hands fucking down.
The worst Ozzy song is better than, well, a lot better too. Not even close. It's a lot better.
The Bill Ward song from Technical Ecstasy.
Absolutely.
That is better than every song on this one. Yeah, this is just, it's a truly uninspired record. And once again, we're not fans of Tony Martin. He's a mediocre singer. He's a vanilla as hell.
He's a shitty lyricist too, apparently.
Yeah, that was crazy too, because we're not big lyric men, but I was blown away. This is like middle school boy.
Yeah. Like, did your kid write this for lyrics. You? You're a grown fucking 40-year-old man, dude. This is dumb.
It's not even just how bad they were, but how there aren't really that many lyrics. Like every verse is like 2, maybe 3 lines.
He just repeats himself constantly. Just comes back to it. Like, shut the fuck up, dude.
And I mean, maybe in some of the other Tony Martin albums, his lyrics are better. Like a lot of people like that whole Norse mythology thing he was going for on, was it Cross Purposes or something like that. But we didn't break down those records. We're breaking down Forbidden, and his lyrics are terrible. And then once again, going back
bad.
To it too,
they're laughable.
They are. No, they're just so bad. And everybody phoned it in on this one. And I feel kind of bad for Ernie C, because I feel like he really, really tried on this one.
He probably did.
and I listened to he was on a podcast years ago, and he was talking about how much, like, he actually really enjoyed making this record, how much fun it was to make this record.
Sure he did.
And he agreed that, like, some parts weren't that great, but he really loved some parts of it too that he really was very proud of, and he was very open about making this record. But I feel like he got fucked so bad by Tony
He was doomed
Iommi.
before they started. Like
Yeah.
Ernie C had no idea, which he probably should have an idea, based on the fact that like Black Sabbath is a rotating door of members coming in and out through the studio and on tour. But like he was doomed before they started. Before they went into the studio, everybody had already made up their mind. They just hired Ernie C to come in and maybe like do something a little bit different. But really, nobody's gonna change. Tony Iommi's not gonna change his fucking mind. If you don't like what you're gonna do, it's not gonna happen.
I agree.
Sucks.
It was a weird record. Weird.
I'll tell you
the
biggest. I'll tell you the biggest travesty in this record, though. The biggest thing for me, the thing that I dislike the most, is the underutilization of Ice-T.
Yeah, he got what, one verse? And one verse that was.
And if you didn't know that was Ice-T, like in the 90s Ice-T, when like gangster rap was coming up and Ice-T was reminding everybody that he was like the OG gangster rap dude, like in the 90s, like Ice-T should have been much more powerful, much more commanding, like straight up like Chuck D style commanding. Dude, put Ice-T on your track, the opening track, and let him be Ice-T. Let him fucking make a name for your band.
It was his verse was it was the song "The Illusion of Power" opening track. Yeah, it was certainly lackluster. He could have done
pathetic.
He is a powerful MC. Like you can't deny that. Ice-T is a powerful MC. I'm not a huge fan of Body Count or Ice-T, but I get his. I understand his importance in the scene and in hip hop and all that.
Vastly important.
It could have been. I mean, this song, that song itself could have been so much better. Like, but they also kind of buried his vocals in the.
He's quiet.
He's quiet. Even in the original mix, like you go back and listen to the original mix from '95, he's still pretty buried in the mix compared to Tony Martin. But I mean, I don't know. I think if Tony Iommi could have done anything, I think he would have taken Ice-T out completely when he remixed this, but he probably wasn't allowed to for like contractual reasons. But
imagine that's in your fucking contract. Like you can never ever like take me out of this. I'm there forever.
Well, it's like, but also when Tony Iommi went and started remixing this record back in the like 2019 or 2020, he even said, he said over the years that he added stuff that was originally recorded during the sessions that weren't on the original mix, but he added them as like overdubs on this record for the 2024 mix. Obviously I don't know this record well enough to differentiate between all the songs and what he might have added or even care. But I guarantee you, if Iommi had the like the free reign to do it, he would absolutely have removed Ice-T from this entire record.
It's so fucking stupid, dude. Like Ice-T, for better or for worse, Ice-T is one of the most important figures in like rap history. Just straight up, he is. Yeah. He's been there since the beginning. He has transcended like rap, and now he's an actor, a movie star, a very successful one. It's like that is like that's huge. That is massive for that community. Yeah. And the fact that he doesn't even say one fuck on this, are you kidding me?
I know.
That's all he does. Like all he does is act fucking gangster and be a dickhead and just assert his dominance over everything. God, man, it would have been so cool just to hear one fuck on a Black Sabbath record that was so aggressive, right?
Yeah.
Damn. And you get Ernie C in here, like, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing out here? Wow me, baby. Wow me.
Yeah.
Wine me and dine me. That's all I wanted.
Dine and 69.
And I got none. Wine, dine, and 69 me. That's all I wanted, but I got none of it. It's pathetic.
Also, okay, so I mean, since we're already on the Illusion of Power, let's kind of get into the music here. Honestly, well, first of all, I have no bangers. I have 3 stinkers and I have 3 okay songs. This sits as one of the okay songs on this whole record. My number 2 okay song on here. Musically, this through most of the song, it has this very kind of ominous, very kind of early like Black Sabbath style of guitar playing and like the big heavy doom rock, stoner rock type of drums and all that kind of stuff, which is super cool. But then Tony Martin comes in. I don't know if he's trying to rap, but
it sounds like he's trying to rap.
But it's like just this like stupid spoken word thing, and it comes off more. Yeah, it comes more off as like a spoken word, but completely uninspired because the lyrics are awful. But that's really what this is. Like it just makes no sense. Like musically, there's some great moments on this song, but Tony Martin just ruins this song.
See, I think this is one of the songs where like it's damn near close to a stinker because the intro is stupid. That clean like guitar picking with this like Rush sounding Tom Sawyer swell drop in. Like, what the fuck is this? And then we get a straight up like silly rip off of like early Sabbath. Like, come on, guys. Like,
it's straight
really?
up a rip off. Yeah,
you're trying to do something different. All you fucking do is you've already ruined it. You've already lost my interest in the first fucking 20 seconds of this album. Already lost my interest. And yeah, what is Tony Martin doing? He's like talking, and then when he does sing, it's in a much lower register, which I don't mind because his high register is fucking obnoxious. But then the way he says "illusion of power," I don't know. I find it, as the kids say, cringe. I find it cringe
because that whole melody. That melody in the chorus sounds like it's a parody of a Black Sabbath song.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like a band trying to sound like Black Sabbath, like early Black Sabbath. It's terrible. Man. But I mean, in the end,
Ice-T thing, dude, man, that gets me, man. I just can't believe you underutilize like the biggest weapon in your arsenal right here. Like right now, the shitty era of Sabbath, like the biggest thing you could do is come out fucking just swinging, right? If you're going to do this sound, do this sound. Yeah. But like, don't have, like Tony he didn't even half-arsed it. He fucking quarter-arsed it, eighth-arsed it, and fucked it all up. Like, damn, dude. Like, if you're going to hire Ernie C, and like, obviously he's going to bring Ice-T with him, like, get the fuck out of here. Don't just put him on the first track, in one verse of the first track, man. Incorporate it. Do other things. Do a complete crossover thing. Like, this is 1995, dude. Like, you're a dying breed, especially the Tony Martin era. Like, that is, thank God that is over. And that is why like grunge happened. It's because of Tony Martin. So that's crazy that right? Like Sabbath is entering the musical field of the mid-90s, and this is a whole different scope of what is happening. And it's funny because they're the reason this new music is happening, because their shitty fucking singer has pretty much made this new music happen. He has made grunge happen because he's awful. Tony Martin single-handedly invented grunge with his shitty, garbage fucking singing. That's a fact.
Man, you hate Tony Martin.
I fucking hate him so much. But it's crazy because this is even worse Tony Martin. And he's not even doing the thing that I fucking hate from Tony Martin.
I know. He, like, some of the shit off of it's not Holy Cross. What? Not Crossbar.
He's not even anybody. He didn't even do anything before this. He's just like a fucking singer that sing stupid.
Stupid.
Stupid Lee.
I even read recently that Tony Iommi was saying like, oh, it would be kind of cool to like do another record with Tony Martin, and it's like,
Tony, you're the worst.
Why? Like he was literally the worst vocalist they've ever. I mean, Glenn Hughes was pretty bad. I mean, Glenn Hughes is not a bad singer, but that 7 Star record was just bad.
It was stupid.
Yeah, but then also like kind of going back to the rankings episode,
it's not his fault though.
It's not Glenn Hughes' fault, but also they in the late 90s, I believe it was, or no, it was after this record, after Forbidden, which we technically could have ranked this record, but Glenn Hughes and Tony Iommi got together again and they recorded a whole album's worth of material, but they never released it until like mid 2010s or something like 2014 or something. But fans have called it 18 or 8th Star rather than 7 Star because I didn't listen to it, but hopefully, I mean, it was probably better than the 7 Star record, but it was supposed to be the second Glenn Hughes Sabbath record. But Tony wanted to release it as a solo record, but once again, even in like the mid 2000s or whatever, they wouldn't allow it to be released as a solo record.
Like sometimes it's okay just to call it a day. Like there's nothing wrong with it. You know what? We did some good things there, mates. Let's just call it. Be done. Like we don't need to wait for a drummer to die. We don't need to wait for somebody to split the band. Just call it, man. They should have fucking called it. They should have called it before Technical Ecstasy. Like, I do like Heaven and Hell, right. But like we just didn't. Dio was gonna do that no matter what.
I mean, and also you don't. I mean, I like Never Say Die, but I mean, you don't need it. You don't need Never Say Die. You could have easily finished the band with Sabotage. Like that's fine.
And that run, like that fucking 6-record run of Sabbath, like that. I could go down in the history books as being like the greatest run of all time. But like, no, now we're talking about one of the fucking worst records of all time because you just couldn't stop being mediocre. And that's what it is. Tony can't stop being mediocre.
I know.
Pissing, moaning, oh, I'm fucking tired, and I need a fucking break. Let's go back to Gloucestershire because I'm tired of being in LA and I need to go home. And then you just have a career of 20 years of mediocrity at
But then
best.
you kind of think like, oh, maybe it's Tony Iommi's like ego, like maybe he's not letting Tony Martin do what he wants to do because Tony Iommi wants to shine. But honestly, on most of these Tony Martin era records, Iommi does not shine. Like there's nothing. There's like moments and cool parts here and there, but overall, like there's nothing about his guitar playing in his songs
Correct.
and these songs that really make them spectacular. It's like
absolutely.
I don't know. I don't get why he continues to go back to Tony Martin outside of the fact that he could literally tell him what to do. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, and he doesn't shine at all. He doesn't shine in the way like an amazing frontman David Lee Roth, but like Eddie Van Halen still shines over David Lee Roth because he's that fucking good.
He's that good, yeah.
Tony never does that with Tony. It's just like, damn, bro, that's like bad singing. And then you're just like, oh, wasn't that the guy that used to be in Sabbath? Like that's what you are. You're a caricature of yourself.
But even caricature.
Caricature.
But then actually, like going back to Van Halen too, it's like when you look at David Lee Roth era of Van Halen, how great Eddie's playing was. It was spectacular. And then you go to the Hagar era, and I know Sammy Hagar wrote a lot of the music as well in Van Halen, but even Eddie's guitar playing took the back seat to most of those songs. Because we listened to all those Hagar records, and we listened to what was the other singer? I don't remember the other singer's name. But you know what I mean? Like Eddie Van Halen never really shined. Gary Cherone. There you go. But you know what I mean? Like without like a great frontman, Eddie Van Halen still doesn't even shine. Like he needed Roth on those first 5.
You need electricity,
really. Yeah, and then you don't get much of anything on the Hagar era, but then you go back to the Roth era with a different kind of truth, and it's like both guys, Roth and Eddie, are in 20. This is 2012.
Yeah,
and the way that those guys are riffing off of each other, it's like they totally reinvigorated themselves. It's unreal. They needed each other, much like I feel Tony Iommi and Ozzy. They need each other to create something super great.
Sure.
Because both are. I mean, Ozzy's good on his own, but he's not great without Tony. Like he needs Tony's riffs.
Fucking like proof is in the pudding right there when he hooked up with Randy Rhoads. Right, Randy Rhoads is in the top list of greatest guitarists of all time. Like fucking fact, he's amazing. And some people would say he's just as good as Tony Iommi, but as a songwriter, like
he's not
no, there. Dude. No, like clearly you have 2 records that fucking just sound like Dio, just not annoying. Like that's what you made. You made Diary of a Madman and you made Blizzard of Oz that are just fucking Dio records.
They're good records.
Annoying singers.
Yeah, they're good records, but they're not. I mean, they pale in comparison to Sabbath. They really honestly do. I mean, even like Zakk Wylde. Zakk Wylde is an amazing guitar player, but the stuff that Zakk Wylde's done with Ozzy is just like it's cool. It's really cool stuff, but God, you cannot compare it to.
We need the Mark and Tom of the underworld, of the musical underworld.
The musical That's underworld. What we need. Yes, exactly. So yeah, The Illusion of Power. That's my my number 2 okay song. Lyrically, dude, I don't even really want to talk about these lyrics because they're so.
Some of them I do because they're really, really stupid and they have funny things, but not this one. I don't care about this one that much.
Yeah, I don't care about this one either. So, what's another song you want to get into?
I have no bangers, dude. So like, it's just me shitting all of these songs. We can do Get a Grip because Get a Grip has really funny lyrics that I wanted to talk about.
Let's get into that. What do you got?
Let's run through that real quick. I guess I don't think we're going to spend much time on these songs.
I don't know.
Get a Grip. This is definitely more of like a Guns N' Roses riff or something from the hair metal era of the 80s. There's also a lot of grunge and alt rock creeping into this song. Like especially, the song especially reminds me of like Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like there's cool riffs towards the end, but just like Tony just struggles with that sort of like pacing, right? That like rap singing over a thrash song. It's just he doesn't know what to do there. Like he needs slower anthemic songs. Because like I want a drummer that can just be slow. The guitar can do whatever he wants because I'm only going to listen to the beat from the drums and I'm going to sing the way I want to sing. And that's really all Tony Martin can do. He's just a one-trick pony. And for whatever reason, society has deemed that kind of vibrato, girly wail is
good.
good. It's palpable. Like I cannot even believe how many people. Remember I told you too. I was like, man, watch. I'm gonna listen to these fucking Sabbath records, and all the people come to my records and like, oh, I love this record. I love this. They all fucking did. They all fucking did. They're like, oh, is this Forbidden Crosses? Oh, is this Tear? Oh, I love this record, man. Fuck you. But butts for pooping. But I do think it's just like it's a generational thing. Like we just didn't grow up listening to this because we weren't even born here, so we didn't like have a high school time listening to Tear or fucking Forbidden Crosses or whatever it is. Going to like prom. Nostalgia. But like, hey, but I really do believe, and this could just be like pretentious me on my high horse, but I really do believe like our music growing up, like listening to like Limp Bizkit and stuff and like new metal, like these are good fucking musicians and they're putting out like good actual like fucking fantastic songs. They're not just caricatures. How you say it? Caricatures. They're not just caricatures of themselves, of their former best selves. These are really good musicians. I think it's just a different time, and maybe the people in the 80s were blind. Maybe they're just blind and dumb. I don't know.
They're blinded dumb.
Blind and dumb. Blind and dumb. Mostly dumb because you can be blind. Blind has nothing to do with listening to music, I guess, but deaf and dumb. Deaf, dumb, and blind. They're the Helen Kellers of our generations.
Jesus Christ.
80s. People that like Tony Martin are just Helen Keller.
You're saying so many dumb things right now.
I just hate Tony Martin so much. And I also think Helen Keller was a sham.
She was. Well, 100%. Helen Keller is a giant fucking sham. But yeah, Tony Martin, once again, he's so vanilla. And I get it. People who grew up in the 80s or in high school, early 20s, this is like the shit. Can you imagine partying and shit in the 80s? Like imagine being 19, 20 years old.
I would.
That'd
right?
be
Like
wild.
if we had to, it'd be fun so I get to listen to that.
I get the nostalgia. I totally understand the nostalgia. Especially if like you're not super into a certain genre, like if you're just kind of going with the flow, I get it.
Totally stupid. Like what's your alternative, right? Like your alternative is fucking like synth rock, like synth pop shit. Like no, dude, I'm not gonna listen to fucking Jay Giles band over Sabbath. I'm just not gonna fucking do it.
So this song, Get a Grip, this is like a very Pearl Jam style kind of riff that we're hearing here. Tony Martin, he honestly sounds like every other grunge alt rock singer from this era, from the early to mid 90s. That's what Tony Martin sounds like here. I also hear a ton of Sammy Hagar, a lot of Sammy Hagar. It has that kind of like almost like inspirational, like big choruses where it's like, it's like very, very over the top. I don't even know how to try to explain it. I don't even know how to try to sing it, but it's very inspirational and big sounding and optimistic. And God, Sammy Hagar sucks. Like Sammy Hagar fucking sucks.
Who would you really listen to? Let's say we have a band and the music is good. The music is solid. You groove into it, but one of two shitty singers is going to come out and probably ruin that song. Do you want to have that song ruined by Sammy Hagar or Tony Martin?
That's a tough one. I would rather hear Hagar because Hagar's
would too.
Because Hagar's a really good singer. He is a really good singer.
And he's
you
fun.
Can't deny that. He is fun, a really good singer. I don't like it. I don't care for it. I think it's cheesy. Yeah, it's cheesy. It's extremely cheesy. And Tony Martin just, dude, I can't stand this era of this band.
But like Tony Martin's not far off from like Bruce Dickinson. They are not that far off.
Except Bruce Dickinson can actually sing. Except Bruce can actually fucking sing.
Yeah, but he sings really well. Like that's even worse. You choose to sing like that. You choose like Dio, to be a dickhead.
Dio's the same way. Dio is a great fucking singer, but he chooses to sing like a dickhead. Like Tony
times.
Tony tries to sing like Tony Martin tries to sing like a dickhead, but he can't sing like he just can't sing. Like he's not. He can sing, but not as well as like your Dio and Bruce Dickinson or Sammy Hagar or something like that.
There's only two times I've ever heard Dio sing in the appropriate goofiness tone, and it was really good. Heaven and Hell is one, and Tenacious D is the other one. Tenacious D is the best because like finally you get it. We've been saying it for years, but now you understand it, you dickhead.
even that part of that Tenacious D song is like, oh my god, dude, you gotta stop. Like, shut the fuck up. What's crazy too is like Dio. He wrote records with arguably like two of the greatest guitar players, or like up the top 10 greatest guitar players of all time. You know, with Tony Iommi and fucking Richie Blackmore. It's crazy. This guy is such a goofball. He's such a fucking goofball, and he works with both of these guys that are just so inspirational and just have just done so much for music. And then Dio is like,
that's the 80s, like, dude.
It's crazy, man.
That's the 80s.
Any fucking
people
sense.
In the 80s were deaf, dumb, and blind, and they just did not fucking know what to do. The 80s was wild. The 80s was wild for music. The 80s was fucking wild. We had a lot of bad things in the 80s.
Oy.
There's only one good thing that happened in the 80s. One.
Metallica.
I was born. Got him.
Okay.
That's why I said one.
Apparently, fuck me, right?
That's why I said one. Oh, that's rude.
You think you're funny, don't you?
I do think I'm fucking funny, yes.
Oh
yeah, God. Get a Grip. So let's go back to Get a Grip, because that's my favorite lyric.
Favorite bad song
on the album. Yeah, here are some of his lyrics.
Terrible,
because it's the song's about like society and bad people, blah blah blah. Who cares? But his lyrics are wild. He says, "The child with a gun holds it up to the head of his brother," and the next line he says, "That ain't nice." The next line after brother is, "That ain't nice."
That ain't nice. Well, that ain't nice.
That's true, dude. That's not nice.
I mean, everything about this. I mean, because I'm going through the lyrics right now too. Again,
they're fucking bad, dude. Again, he's like 40 at
this
point.
They're just so elementary. Like the second verse, somebody tell me, where did we lose? Where's the point that we lost control to live with each other? Mr. Politician searching for a lie. What's the truth? Will the youth find the proof for a revolution? Like, come on, guy. It's just
actually, like, to be honest, we could have dove like head first into these lyrics and tore these apart and be like, wow, this is an aging man who has clearly like lost grip on reality and is now looking to the younger generation to do what he should have done 20 years ago, but couldn't do because he had his head so far up his own fucking ass that he just missed the boat. Yeah. And now here we are talking about it. That's what we could have done.
We could have.
But that's even more grating than just listening to this fucking record.
And then coming up next week on the next episode we're doing, which I'm not going to spoil, but I'll give you a hint. We're doing a lyricist who's on this particular album we're doing on the podcast. Some amazing lyrics, amazing storytelling, great fucking shit on the next record we're doing. And then this week we are doing some of the most abysmal, dumb fucking lyrics. And I mean, we do some really dumb lyrics. I mean, even like going back to somebody like David Lee Roth. We love David Lee Roth. His lyrics are dumb, but even David Lee Roth,
he owns
lyrics,
it.
He owns it, and his lyrics are even better than this. Like, this is just straight up bad. Like, Tony Martin, he offers nothing here. He literally offers nothing.
Yeah, that's what it is. He offers nothing
at all.
He only takes. He doesn't give.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head.
That's it.
Jesus Christ, get a grip, baby.
Yeah, get a grip, Tony. Yeah, nobody cares about this record. I don't know. Let's run through these real quick then, because I really don't care. I don't have a lot of notes. They're all mean.
I mean, there's only a couple songs I want to talk about because the riffs are so super weird.
Which one? What do you got?
Yeah, so let's start with "Shaking Off the Chains." This is like my number one okay song. Does this one sit anywhere for you?
This is funny because I said this one is lazy, and I said this riff is silly and so far beneath Tony. But we do get a
Tony
better
Iommi
song.
Or?
Yeah, no, you're right, okay. Tony Iommi. But we do get a better song as it progresses. Like there's some actually cool like metal noodling. It's just never heavy. He just never goes for it. It's always just like, damn, bro, you were just like, you're even half-assing it.
Yeah. Yeah, the riff is very kind of the riff is very half-ass, but it's also it's weird. It's not off time, but it's just really bizarre. And I think any vocalist trying to sing over this riff would have a hard time doing it unless they're trying to like note match follow that riff. They're gonna have a hard time doing it. And Tony Martin tries doing that. he sounds a lot like Ozzy, but not nearly as cool. And then the song doesn't go anywhere. Like it's a bizarre riff that makes no sense. It's very elementary too. It sounds like, you're a freshman and like you're 15, 16 years old and you're like, this is a really cool fucking riff. Let me show my friends. And we're doing it, whatever. But it's just like, yeah, it's cool when you're 15, 16 years old. But
I thought it was also it was a very like early suicidal song. I was like, oh, I could hear this being like when they really started to become like metal. Like I could see this being as like an early suicidal, maybe like an outtake of a song. That's what this reminded me of.
But just not nearly as fast.
No,
it's not like a punk song. Yeah, or as good. Also, so halfway through this song, it completely changes. It changes pace. It changes. The riff changes.
Yeah, it gets better.
And the riff is Crazy Train. It's Crazy Train.
Oh no!
It's straight. Go back and listen to it. Obviously, you don't remember this or you didn't take notes on it. But halfway through the song, it changes up. It gets faster, a little bit faster, and it is Crazy Train. But like there's like a couple notes off from the Crazy Train riff, but it's there. It's like almost 100% the Crazy Train riff. And this is what, in 95, so 13 years later, 14 years later, whenever Crazy Train was written. But yeah, no, it's straight up that fucking riff on this song. I just can't believe how Tony Iommi could just lift it like that. That's why, and nobody says anything.
That's ballsy.
Yeah, it's super fucking ballsy. So those are the two things I wanted to mention, like the main riff and then the Crazy Train riff that Tony Iommi just drops halfway through the song.
I put in my notes. I will listen to it next week. I now have notes on the top of my doc that's like tell Tyler this, and then also like listen to this, and then report back. So
I mean, you'll hear it instantly. You will hear it instantly. You'll know. And then lyrically, the song's about finding yourself, not living for others. Just like, come on, man.
Dumb.
How old are you? You're like 45 years old.
Like
why
40,
are you talking about this?
Pretty bad.
So yeah, Shaking Off the Chains. Rusty Angel. Did this one sit anywhere with you?
I mean, Rusty Angel like now is like one of my, if I had to say it was a banger of a mediocre song, this is it. But that's just because now AFI did this exact thing better. But that's it. But like really, this is just classic like metal style riffage, right? But
Yeah.
like Sabbath decided for some reason to just slow everything down to a crawl. Like the song could be better if even just like Cozy alone just double timed it. But like, why did he fuck this up too? Like everybody did this song so dirty, and it's a cool riff, and they fucked it up.
It's almost like it's almost like Ernie C told Cozy, like, I want you to do this and this and that. And Cozy's like, you know what, fuck you. I'm going to do the most basic shit. I'm going to like sabotage this recording because I don't want to be told what to do.
Lars. Play like Lars plays. Do it. That's what it is.
Yeah. At least it's in time. But yeah, Rusty Angel, it does have a very metal riff to it. And I brought this to your attention earlier today where it finally connected in my mind that the riff to this song is almost the exact same riff to
the exact same riff.
Minus like the end of the riff. Like there's a part in the Sabbath song where he does some little bit of noodling, but the AFI song, The Last Kiss from their record Black Sails in the Sunset, the riff is identical. I mean that the riff is almost identical. Yeah. And obviously the AFI song came out a couple years after this, but even still, like they're almost fucking identical. Just AFI plays it faster, or Sabbath plays it slower, but it's the same fucking thing. Vocally, Tony Martin goes back to like his more Dio style vocal, like more of the vibrato and just obnoxious shit. There's also some good like subtle use of double bass, which you start to hear more on this. You actually hear quite a bit of double bass with those kick drums, which is kind of cool. It adds a little bit of a excitement, flair to some of these songs, and you hear it on this song too. So I don't know, Rusty Angel, just another bad lyrically. It's about like somebody who we thought was so beautiful, inside and out, and then come to find out they're a terrible person. They've fallen from grace. They're really not that great of a person. It's like it's so cheesy. So cheesy.
It's just so like teenage Hot Topic, and it's just so gross and pathetic. It's pathetic is what it is.
Yeah.
Too old for this shit.
So I mean that's it for my okay songs, and then the last three are just stinkers for me.
The
Like,
last three songs on the album are
well,
stinkers.
no. Like, I have 3 more songs that are just stinkers that we haven't even got over. But
Oh,
I'll just go over my least favorite. The worst song on the whole record. I Won't Cry for You. Like the worst fucking song. The 5th song.
fuck. Oh yeah, I see. Oh yeah. Oh god, dude. Even like so, like it's hard not to giggle or smirk when the song starts because like, wow, dude, that's pretty bad. But then
Mm,
again, this goofy ass like clean guitar tone with this fake ass 12-string effect. What the fuck you doing? What is that sound? It sounds
yeah.
like absolute garbage. This sounds like some guy who hands you his CD after his shitty band plays at the bars. Hey, check us out, dude. You're like, whoa, dude, you suck.
Yeah.
And it's too fucking long. It doesn't do anything. Then at one point, we just get Tony Martin like constantly repeating lyrics about crying and shit. And it's just like, what?
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm out. I'm
Oh,
out.
it's so bad. It's so bad. Yeah, I mean, the first like minute and 20 seconds is just this like that's a good way of putting it. Like a 12, like a pretend 12-string guitar, like an effect you have. You're like an effect pedal that's supposed to sound like a 12-string guitar. That's what it sounds like. It sounds super fucking cheap.
You're way
And
too
then
deep in your discography to like use cheap effects.
I know. And then there's like this slight build, like the synth starts to build up for like a good 10, 15 seconds. And then like a minute and 20, then everything drops in. It becomes this really bad power ballad for the chorus and shit. And then the verse comes back in and it's just back to what you heard in the beginning. It's just like this back and forth, big, loud power ballad chorus, like quieter verse, and then swell into that chorus. Um, it's terrible. It's really really fucking bad. Yeah, and lyrically, it's about it's just him being heartbroken. It's like, dude, this is 1995, and you're writing a song like this. Like this is like you're 10 years too late, man. You're 10 years too late.
And
And even then, this is
it's
a bad power ballad.
it's fucking disingenuous. Like, dude, you're Tony Martin. Like, I hate you with a fucking passion, but like, you're Tony Martin. Like, fuck off, man. Like, it's hard to, with the amount of like groupies and like drugs and money and fame that you have, it comes off as disingenuous to the layman to think like, oh, I
Hmm.
feel sorry for this guy. He must be heartbroken. Like, man, fuck off. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking
It's
prick.
truly bad. It's truly, truly bad. Um, I mean, really, honestly, that's the only. I mean, I have 3 stinkers, but this is the worst of the stinkers.
That's a
So there's
stinky
really no
stinker.
point in talking about. I feel talking about any of the other stinkers.
Let me just see if I have a funny little note here. No, not really.
I mean, I don't really have anything either. I think this.
I did have a good note about Kiss of Death. Is Kiss of Death a stinker?
Um, I mean, I don't think it is. Shit, God, these songs are so not memorable that
The
no
last
kiss of
song.
no kiss no kiss not a. I didn't list it as a stinker, but I was so over it at this point that I just didn't even care. Did not even care.
My first note is just like, of course, this turd is the longest song on the record.
6 minutes and 11 seconds. Yeah. Which I honestly, it's not that long of a song.
If it's good, no, fuck no. Give me more.
Oh, yeah. It's
Fuck
this
that.
record. This record is something else. So so we're gonna wrap it up in a moment. But before we do that, I do want to talk about the album artwork,
I
both the
like the album
original,
artwork.
yeah, the original, and then the updated one. I really like it too. I think this
Yeah,
is a
it's fucking
great.
cool.
It's great album artwork. It's the Grim Reaper with the giant scythe, and the moonlight with like a big full moon behind him. I think, and the colors like the blue and the red really pop there. Um, and it's like this oil painting. It looks fucking super cool. And that was the original one of just the Grim Reaper with the scythe, and then this new remixed remastered version has like almost I think it's like part of the back cover with the front cover, so it's like kind of caricatures of their heads in a giant pile of like wood and flames and shit like that. So honestly, both pieces of artwork are really cool. I really like it though.
I like it a lot too. I don't. People think it's one of the worst that they've ever done, but I think it's
It's cool.
vibrant like Born Again, but it's
Yeah.
not over the top like Born Again. There's a lot of death here. There's a lot of Sabbath here. It's good mid tier artwork for Sabbath.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out who did the artwork, but I'm just looking at their wiki. I didn't see it on their wiki, and I don't really care enough to Google it. But no, I really do like the artwork here. I think it's fun, it's silly, it's over the top for
Dude, there's so
Sabbath,
much cool shit here.
especially like
There's a
mid
fucking
'90s Sabbath. Come on, it's stupid, but it's fun.
there's the noose hanging from the tree. I'm looking at it now, like the HG thing on Reddit. You can find there's like a fucking that cross, that weird kind of like Catholic looking crossing, all in the very background. I think the red and the blue like goes together really well.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. It's very kind of like Grateful Dead meets like Black Sabbath. I like it.
It is. I do enjoy it too. So the guy's name is Paul Sample. He was the one who created the cover art. What a basic name, Paul Sample. Paul.
That sounds like a fake name. Sounds like a bot name. That's a bot name.
I mean, mind you, I'm getting this from the AI overview from Google, which is known to be very wrong. So it might not be a Paul Sample. Maybe that's just a made up name, but yeah, anyway. I do like this album cover. Like the original, even the new one I really like a lot as well. I think it's cool. Goofy, cheesy, but it's campy. I like the campy thing about it. It's cool.
Yeah. I looked at their Discogs page, because usually Discogs will tell you who did the photo or the cover art, but even Discogs doesn't have Paul Sample there.
Yeah, I think the AI overview is just completely fucking wrong.
Paul Sample sounds like an AI trying to like give you a name just to appease you.
I agree. It's so fucking fake and AI. But anyway, Forbidden. This record by Black Sabbath. Let's
actually
what?
Hold on there, dude, because I got a little something here. There's a band called Forbidden, and they released an album called Forbidden Evil in 1988. And maybe it's just me and I'm crazy, but just the color scheme and the way it's set up, and the way it's set up. If you look from afar, it looks pretty similar to Sabbath's Forbidden Evil, 1988.
Forbidden Evil.
I can't text. I have to update my fucking WhatsApp, of course. But like from afar, like the thumbnail, if you saw the thumbnails together, you would probably think they're the same record, because I did. And that's pretty crazy.
Maybe color scheme, but the cover itself, no, with the skulls, like the blue and red skull coming together.
They're not like identical. I'm just saying, like from afar, if you're looking at thumbnails, they look pretty fucking similar. Maybe Paul sampled from something else.
I think you're reaching a little bit there. I think you're reaching a little bit. But...
Dude, did this never get like an official? Oh my god, it didn't get like an official pressing until like this year. There's white label promo of it from '95, a Brazilian white label promo of Forbidden, and didn't get a repress until this year.
Yeah, until 2024. There was like a box set that came out.
That's crazy.
It was a giant box set with all the Tony Martin stuff.
Here's where we go with the wrap up here. You ready?
Okay, what do you got?
This record sucks so bad that it's never gotten a repress. And we love repressing 90s because there's money involved, right?
Yeah.
Because we know you repress anything from the 90s and people are going to fucking buy it. That's why we've got like just since we've started collecting vinyl, there's been 3 pressings of So Much for the Afterglow by Everclear.
Like we started collecting in 2020. And we started collecting
in 4 years, there's been 3 different represses of that shit. If there is money to be made, we will repress it. This shit hasn't been repressed until this year. That's fucking bad. This record sucks. Everybody that plays on this record is the worst form of themselves. Tony Iommi included. This is bad Tony, dude. This is bad Tony. Matched with even worse Tony Martin. Because even though I hate his fucking high-pitched singing, this is worse. How is this worse?
I know.
And all I do is complain about how much I hate 80s metal because of that fucking machismo, bravado, fucking singing.
Bravado, yeah.
I hate it.
Bravado.
It's awful. Bravado works because that's why they do it.
It does work. Yeah, bravado works too. Yeah.
Okay, dickhead. I was being a little more
well, you weren't.
Meta. Wrong. I can get 4 more years. Wrong. This is bad. This is fuck, this is crazy. This is a 0. I give this no points. I give this no points. There's no reason to listen to this. There is no reason to listen to this.
Give it a 0? Okay.
If there was more Ice-T, I would say, oh yeah, dude, check this one out. They did like this crossover hip hop metal thing and it fucking sucks, but like you get to hear Ice-T and like you get to Ernie C. No, there's nothing here. If you didn't know that was Ice-T going in, you wouldn't know that was Ice-T coming out.
Okay, so going back to the way we rate things, our world famous 3-point rating system is 3 is a perfect album, 2 is a good album you're going to continue to listen to, 1 is a bad album, give it a shot, and 0 is the worst thing you've ever heard. So this is like up there with like some of the worst things you've ever heard.
When we joked and like, oh, this is worse than Poison, I was like, you might have got me on that one. Yeah, this is worse than Poison.
I don't know if this is worse. No, I don't think it's worse than Poison.
At least with Poison, I can be like, oh, I know the song. My mom listened to this. Pathetic. But she was a teenage girl, not a grown ass 40-year-old man. Yeah, this might be the worst record we've ever done on the podcast.
Wow. I do not agree with you on that.
Fucking hate this record.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I really don't agree with you on that. I don't think
drums
are
shit
record.
From a good drummer. Guitar work is shit from a great guitarist. Songwriting is garbage from like an okay songwriter. The vocals are even shit for an even shittier fucking vocalist. The bass is like non-existent. All he does is go dum 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 dum. It's like some fucking bull. Ugh.
Boring.
It's worse than boring.
So yeah, with this record, this record's completely unnecessary. And once again, the only reason why I ranked it higher, amongst the album rankings is because there's something a little bit different. There's something a little bit more challenging here compared to the other stuff. There's nothing overtly terrible about parts of this record like there are with like 7 Star and things like that. So I don't think it's the worst record we've ever done because we just ranked a shit ton of bad records, much like Poison.
Saint Anger's better than this. Like
but going back to when we did Poison like 3 years ago, we did Look What the Cat Dragged In. Not a great record at all. No. But there were records that were way worse than that. So you would also rank those 0? Like those are 0 along with Look What the Cat Dragged In.
For Poison's like listen through.
But what I'm saying is like, but you would rank that also 0? Like along with
Look What the Cat Dragged In. Look What the Cat Dragged In is a time and place. Like it served a purpose for the people that liked that music, right? Like the 80s hair metal scene. Poison was so fucking over the top. Like we took a cool Motley Crue and now we just like fucking pussified it to the max and made Poison. But it served a perfect purpose. It served a purpose. Superfluous purpose. It served a purpose. And yes, I for nostalgia purposes, for posterity's sake, I would rate that. I think we gave it a 1. Like, let's do it once, never again. Yeah, that deserves a 1. This does not deserve a 1. It just doesn't. It just fucking doesn't.
All right. I mean, okay, so in the end, I don't want to talk about this record too much more because there's really honestly
I'm already mad. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk before we fucking did it.
There's honestly really not much to talk about. So with everything that has been said over the last hour or so, I will give this a 0.5 out of 3. 0.5. It's not the worst thing I've ever heard. It is not. I mean, it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
Close. Pretty bad, but it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. So I'm going to give it a 0.5. You don't really ever need to listen to this record. You really don't.
You don't.
You don't need to listen to any Tony Martin Black Sabbath record. You really, really fucking don't.
This is the worst of the worst era of Black Sabbath.
I mean, the Glenn Hughes record though is pretty. No, 7th Star is the worst. Like 7th Star is the fucking worst.
But Tony brings it on 7th Star.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does, dude. There's fucking cool riffs on 7th Star.
No.
There's no cool riff on this record. There is no cool part of this record.
All right. Well, whatever. You gave this a 0 out of 3. I gave this a 0.5 out of 3, which is crazy. Like I can't believe we've agreed to rank a record this fucking low, especially by such an iconic band. And this is why this is a great closer to Easy Hard Season because you and I both love Black Sabbath, and like you mentioned earlier, we didn't rank Saint Anger from Metallica. We didn't rank it this low.
No,
but I mean, this is like truly just a shit fucking record. There's nothing redeemable about this. So
that's what makes it hurt even worse is because the best of Black Sabbath is better than the best of Metallica. Is better than the best of any Easy Hard Season band we've done. And it's like, damn, dude, to see Fallen Idols, right? Like,
and for you to say that this is better than Crash Love from AFI,
you're right.
That's something.
Barely. This is barely better than Crash
barely
Love.
Better. Okay.
The amount
All
of,
right.
just
What?
before we leave too, real quick, the amount of people that still come into the store and be like, "Oh, you sold the Crash Love? Oh, I was gonna buy that." It's fucking
Bullshit.
obnoxious. Happened yesterday.
Did you buy
One, because I know they're full of shit because we're not gonna buy it anyway. It's too expensive.
Did you sell
two,
the bootleg that I?
Oh
gave you
yeah.
guys?
Oh,
Okay.
dude, fucking like day after I posted it, gone, long, gone.
Honestly, that was a good bootleg.
Long
That was good.
gone.
Outside of like the inner artwork, which was the wrong era of the band, it was a good
Which
bootleg.
I don't even think they fucking would probably even realize that.
Yeah,
People that bought it.
that it was a bootleg copy.
It's just so annoying. People say, "Oh, you sold the Crash." I'm like, what? Like, we're gonna buy it? Get the fuck out of here, cheap ass.
I got it, motherfucker. I have it right here behind me.
It was destined.
Yep. So I got it. So yeah, that's all we have for this episode. Easy Hard season is done. We got some good stuff coming up in the next couple weeks. We got planned out. A friend of the pod, I'm not going to mention his name, but friend of the pod suggested something. So we're doing that next. Some great lyrics on this particular record. So it's going to be fun. Much better than what we did this week. Thank God. So thank you all for listening. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, tell all your friends, share all the posts. And I'm done. I'm exhausted. That's it.
Done, exhausted,
That's
we're
all.
hungry, we're ready.
Brad
Next week ready to go, queued up.